Hello, this is the Vietnam Social News Update for October 25, 2025. Date of news coverage, October 25, 2025. Politics. Today in Hanoi, the spotlight is firmly on the reshuffling of senior leadership. The National Assembly of Vietnam has confirmed the appointments of 2 new deputy prime ministers and 3 ministers, marking a significant rearrangement within the government's top ranks. The new deputy prime ministers are Pham Thi Ton Tra, former Minister of Home Affairs, and Ho Quoc Dung, former party chief of Gia Lai Province. At the same time, new ministers for Foreign Affairs, Agriculture, and Home Affairs were assigned. This move brings the total number of deputy prime ministers to 9 and signals the government's preparation for the upcoming strategic period ahead of the 5-yearly party congress. The timing is no accident. The government's current session, which opened on October 20th, precedes the 14th National Party Congress scheduled for January 19th to 25, 2026. With the Congress looming, these appointments reflect a drive to shape the leadership configuration well in advance and to set the strategic tone into the next 5 years. Beyond personnel, the reshuffle sends a message that the administration intends to maintain momentum in governance, reform, and administrative efficiency. However, the key question remains: will these changes translate into meaningful improvements in transparency, accountability, and public service? Or are they largely symbolic? While the top-tier appointments are visible, the deeper tasks of institutional reform remain. Whether the new ministers and deputy prime ministers will push through structural change, such as improved oversight, digital governance, and citizen-centric services, is what will determine the real value of these shifts. Economy. Now, let's move to the economy. The economic picture remains resilient for Vietnam. In its latest projection, the government has set an ambitious target of at least 10% annual GDP growth for 2026, building on estimated growth of approximately 8% this year. Despite global trade headwinds, including rising U.S. tariffs on key Vietnamese exports, the economy is showing healthy momentum. The shift from a dependence on low-cost labor and basic manufacturing toward higher value-added sectors appears to be gaining traction. At the same time, financial market developments are bolstering the outlook. The FTSE Russell upgrade of Vietnam's stock market classification to emerging market status has helped push share indexes to record highs and is expected to open the door to billions of dollars in overseas investment. Such external validation reinforces the government's narrative of upgrading the growth model and enhancing investment quality. Yet, challenges persist beneath the surface. Export exposure, particularly in sectors like footwear and textiles, remains a vulnerability in the context of U.S. tariffs and global supply chain disruptions. Meanwhile, sustainable growth will require deeper reforms in skills training, innovation ecosystems, and institutional capacity. The ambition is clear, but the execution across the real economy is what will determine whether Vietnam avoids the middle income trap and achieves durable advancement. Society and culture. Next, in society and culture, Vietnam's social landscape is undergoing broad transformation. On the mobility front, for instance, proposals to phase out petrol-powered motorbikes in major urban centers like Hanoi are gaining traction. The move is part of a broader green urban agenda, signaling a shift toward cleaner transport and smarter cities. But the challenge lies in ensuring this transition is inclusive, that those whose livelihoods depend on traditional motorbike manufacturing, servicing, and informal commuting don't get left behind. The human dimension, access, equity, and adaptation, will shape whether the change is welcomed or resisted. Culturally, Vietnam is increasingly confident. The creative class, digital platforms, and global cultural flows are reshaping what Vietnamese identity looks like, both at home and abroad. Younger generations are experimenting with global styles and local narratives simultaneously, while efforts to ensure inclusion of rural, ethnic, and older populations remain ongoing. This blend of tradition and innovation creates a rich social texture, but also raises questions about cohesion. How to maintain roots while embracing modernity. At the same time, deeper structural issues loom. Demographic aging, rural-urban inequality, climate-driven disruption, and the pressure to deliver quality education, healthcare, and urban infrastructure across all regions. Social trust and cohesion will increasingly depend on how the benefits of growth and modernization are distributed, not just how fast the economy grows. The cultural dimension will only flourish if the social foundation is broad-based and inclusive. International relations. Lastly, in international relations, Vietnam is clearly repositioning itself on the global stage. One major recent development: the upcoming elevation of diplomatic ties with the United Kingdom to the highest tier of a strategic comprehensive partnership. This upgrade comes as the British Prime Minister prepares to meet Vietnam's leadership, signaling deepening cooperation beyond trade into areas such as defense, technology, and multilateral coordination. At the same time, Vietnam is hosting a landmark signing of the United Nations Cybercrime Treaty in Hanoi, with around 60 countries participating. The pact represents a major step in global cooperation to tackle cybercrime, from ransomware and online trafficking to hate speech and data theft. While the treaty enhances Vietnam's credentials as a global partner, it also invites scrutiny from civil society actors concerned about potential human rights implications, given Vietnam's track record on digital governance. Taken together, these moves suggest Vietnam is aiming to act less as a passive recipient of global forces and more as an active architect of its international role. From upgraded partnerships to multilateral treaties, the country is sharpening its diplomacy. The critical test will be whether foreign policy ambition converts into domestic results. Technology transfer, stronger institutions, greater investment, and better connectivity. In the current global environment, with supply chain shifts, geopolitical competition, and digital insecurity, Vietnam's ability to capture the upside of its diplomatic diplomacy will matter enormously. Thank you for listening to the Vietnam Social News Update. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And see you again tomorrow. This news summary is based on publicly available reports and rewritten uniquely for Vietnam Social News. VietnamNews.com is the official web address of Vietnam Social News. We are an independent platform, not affiliated with Vietnam News Agency or any government-owned media outlet.